Womp womp. Is this thing on? Anyways, what is this? Oh, right. Okay, that's like 3 things on my mind with of what to do next. I think with respect to these guys here, I'm just gonna let them sit. I think the bigger problem is that the colors are kind of weird. I can't quite get a hold of what the problem is. So it means we have to move on for now. But at the same time, I tried doing more stuff over the weekend and I'm getting a little bit burnt out on this end. To some extent, it feels almost like I'm kind of overdoing the simplification. And it's starting to get complicated again. But regardless, we don't have to keep pushing all the different, like on this side constantly. So I'm gonna switch over back to the usual stuff. I think the usual stuff has like 3 aspects to it. So one of it is new ideas for study, like what we did for before, the painting one, or is it this one? So pushing boundaries, that's number 1. Number 2 would be actually tidying up phase sheets, because VS1 is out. I have a rough idea of what is acceptable, what is not acceptable. At this point in time, we're not caring about character design in terms of clothing anyways. And physical design has already been settled a while ago. And it's been sitting there, I've been looking at it here and there, and it looks fine. So all I need to do would be to clean this up. But I think ideally we would not use this. Not that there's anything wrong with this necessarily. Well, I do suppose maybe proportionally it's slightly mayhaps out of date. Although I don't know how out of date it is. I think primarily it's just the face balance is a little bit different. I don't know if it's going to necessarily be that much more. But regardless, I think it can be tied up with the Rhea sheet somehow. I think for one, the poses can be a little bit less than neutral. And then we can also, what's the word? Size them accordingly. The Rhea sheet doesn't actually have a, where is it? It doesn't actually have a ruler in there, but I figure it would be nice to have a ruler. Oh, but never mind. Actually, there's no space for it. Actually, no, forget about it. It's fine. I just want something that's a little bit more up to date, I think. So that'd be the second thing to do. And then with regards to some other stuff, I think I had the chance of checking out some Colossal courses over the weekends. And I've been looking through some of the stuff that I wanted to take a look at. And one of them specifically would be a 3D one. And it's nothing too groundbreaking. I think like I just wanted to see again and get confirmation again. But like as much as I remembered, which is that you kind of set up the scene in 3D, you render it, and then you composite it and you paint over it, this and that. But then looking at the workflow, 3D workflow is intense. It is very intense, especially if you're doing sculpting, you're doing modeling, you're doing texture work. All of these things are entire sort of journeys by themselves, in and of themselves, right? So I don't think it's actually very viable for us to do it. I don't think it's possible. So 3D is definitely just going to be a sort of block-in kind of process. Any texturing, any windows, any sort of detailing onto those big blocks of shapes, we would do it in 3D only if the resource is available, or only if it's exceedingly hard to do in 2D. But otherwise, I think photo bashing would be the main go-to for a lot of these things. We shall see. I mean, like at this point, we still have 0 experience of it. I'm also looking through some of the other courses. I don't know necessarily how useful some of them would be. But if there's more information that I can glean, and maybe that would be, you know, why not, right? Of course. But yeah, so it's either try to do some Fey sheets, in which case I just need a angle here. And then I'm gonna put these as separate ones. Wait, actually, let me think. I just want something with more personality. I think this has to come first, because if this comes out, we use this as entry. So my concern is like, what if we can show all the information we do need to show, and I guess this will be the side view, and then we can have like the front views. Yeah, I'm not sure. Anyways, either way, today's that's the main sort of rough outline of what I feel like I would like to do, but at the same time, there's nothing concrete because I don't have any idea for proceeding with any of these ideas. Haha. So we just try to do things and see if we can get anywhere, you know. Yeah, maybe I do not need a side. Something that shows personality. Either way, I think we just have to start sketching, because I do need to get my hand moving for this to work. I just hold that. Let me just get warmed up here. Entry is neutral. I see. Neutral is fine, I suppose. Another email, that's fine. Hello, the virus. I am kinda just going through Pinterest, looking for stuff to warm up on. I think it's kind of stupid. It sounds like I should just do anything that comes up. It doesn't matter, right? But at the same time, like, I'm trying to look for something that's a bit more inspiring, I think. But sometimes whatever that I do kind of sets the tone for like the rest of the stream. But of course, spending time doing it is also kind of, you know, a waste of time, mayhaps. But yeah, ideally I would like to be able to plan the next interesting looking thing. And then also get face sheets sorted out. Oops. What am I looking at? Oh, shit. Yeah, this is not the kind of warm-up. I need like overall anatomy, shape, form kind of thing. Okay, maybe some of these. Toothbrush, toothbrush. Oh my god. over. All these pauses are because my screen is dark. My god. Very subpar first sketch of the week, I think. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, this first one is always gonna suck, my god. But I have to go through with it so that we don't start off with something that failed, necessarily. And then if it's good, it's nice. If it's not good, then it's like, oh yeah, I got something bad out of the way. Surely that would not happen again for the entirety of the stream. Do I not dreading? No. I don't work on weekdays, weekends. I do adjacent stuff if I even feel like it is the thing. I took a look at some Colossal courses that I managed to get my hands on, including some 3D stuff. And I was just saying in the beginning of the stream, to myself by the way, of course, so I don't mind repeating this, of course, but that it is kind of insane, like some of these 3D workflows. Some of them, they do texturing and modeling in 3D, so that takes away the work from 2D. And I already have an idea that it's gonna be a lot of work, right? But like seeing it again just affirms the fact that we're never gonna do 3D to that level. Our 3D is just kind of blockouts, layouts, and then if the sort of assets are available, if it's exceedingly hard to plan and draw in 3D, like sorry, in 2D, for example, something that might be like super crazy perspectives, like super like weird forms in crazy perspectives, then we have no choice, right? That is the problem of the subject matter, and you have to suck it up and do it. But otherwise, I think photo bashing is the way to go. Like, there's absolutely no way we're gonna learn to be 3D modeling masters and compositing and camera angle and all those things in 3D. Yes, A lot of work, but wait, what? How far am I, dude? Holy shit. The shoes are gonna get really big, just watch. But yeah, so what was I saying? I can't remember, but anyways, 3D sucked. A lot of work. I was also looking at some other courses for was it like character design, rendering, this and that, and then right, I still don't really know like where we stand on it. I think the problem with 3D is I keep saying I want to do 3D, but 3D might be the kind of thing where it's not a good idea to just jump in and start. Because like it's not a bad thing to do that, but I think specifically for us, because of time constraints, because we're so overextended already, jumping in to do 3D is like trying to learn it from scratch without a goal. I think for us 3D has to be extremely directed. We have to be like, oh, we're gonna do this comp, and it has to be a comp that I can already kind of do in 2D, and the reason is because I need to be able to see what I want. And once I see what I want, I can see the problems and like the amount of the difficult part of the work. And then from there, we take 3D and we try to make it work for us instead of just learning it in a vacuum, which I think would be a very bad idea, very inefficient. So that's my conclusion for 3D, that I'm not going to touch it for now, for the time being, until 2D can be a little bit better. And then when we do eventually do 3D, it will be as minimal as possible. Most likely than not, we'll be using squares and blocks and that's it. And then Bash on top of that. Primarily a layout tool and lighting sort of setup kind of thing. Wait, actually the forms are lining up here. Holy shit. I wasn't expecting it to line up here. But anyways. Some other stuff we include, like also looking at some character design stuff. Now these courses have like good stuff in them. And by the way, I do mean like the insides of the course. I don't mean like just the I don't mean I took a look at the trailer and like guessing what's inside. I have some access to some of these courses. Don't ask me how. Magic, of course. But then like as always, you know, anything that's illustrative, they start off with teaching perspective and colors and shadows and this and that. I've been hearing the same thing for so many times, but I haven't really been listening. That's great, but anyways. Yeah, some of the character design courses I would like to take a look, especially because we're sort of entering the phase where we kind of need to do some work on that front. But yeah, it would be nice to get some of that, like, actual, like, industry level knowledge. I saw some tutorial, like, sorry, someone's course, and it was, like, something like what I would be doing, you know, like, it's very methodical. It's very much like, hey, you can iterate through colors this way, and then, like, these are the different ways I iterate through, like, the guy iterate through colors. And then looking at it it seems very methodical and like a very easy to replicate process. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, hey, just try this, try that. So it'd be nice to have some time to do it, but probably be on the weekends, I think. Yeah, half of all courses, like literally, not even joking, is actually just teaching you from scratch. And I get that, like, you know, you don't know who's coming in and stuff, but I really wish that they would just come in and expect a certain level of proficiency from you, so they can actually just get to the meat of the thing, instead of like flooding it with so many like fundamentals, you know. But regardless, what do I know about making educational art videos? But you know, jokes aside, I think if I ever go back to making videos, it would definitely be just like very targeted, like hey, this render effect, I'm just gonna assume you know every single basic. I'm just gonna talk only about, hey, what this texture is, what it's supposed to represent, why it's here, why it works, right? What to keep in mind, like, to make it work, that kind of stuff. But in order to do that, we do have to be good ourselves. Which, actually, the big thing about making videos is primarily, like, a big thing is also, like, the imposter syndrome. Because I know I can't do any of these shit. So I'm like the kind of person that I hate the most, like someone who can't do it and just like tries to teach people about it. Like, kind of sucks. Although back in the day, the videos didn't start like that, right? The video started with just like, hey, this is what I did. And even the later ones, I always try to have a disclaimer because I hate being a hypocrite. So I try to do my best, but going forwards, I think it would be nice to actually be coming in a bit more authoritatively and be like, oh yeah, this is why it works, you know, after seeing all of these different styles and on this and that. But I gotta back it up with some facts, or some actual stuff to convince people that it makes sense. This is not rendered very properly, because maybe let me bring this down, let me see. The values are not quite right, so it looks a bit weird, but once I do this, it should be fine. It should. I have to go over every single area so that the overlaps are there to get the values for the shadows correct. This is fine. And I gotta pray my tablet doesn't go dark here, because if it does, it breaks the input and we have to start again. This is it needs to be one stroke here. If not, the overlaps don't work very well. It gets too dark. Did we make it? Kind of. Why is it so stressful to draw, dude? Holy shit. No, like the virus, 100%. 100%. Like, why would I listen to someone who cannot even do it for themselves, you know? Like, why should I listen to someone like that, you know? If they have advice and they're clearly not taking it, like, what? What, dude? What are you trying to do here, you know? Like, it doesn't make any sense, so... I 100% get it. That's why I felt like so bad, like, when I was doing, like, the breakdown analysis videos, because I know that I'm not doing anything. I knew better than anyone else that I am not qualified to do it. I'm sure the mental cost would have caught up to me eventually, but that is not the main reason why I stopped. It's just primarily because of time. Now this part we have a chance to show the... if I can render this correctly, but we only get one shot here. Also, I kind of missed the mark with the sleeve here. It's whatever. Yeah, after this, I gotta try and get a new idea on the paper, on canvas here. We need something... The last time it worked because, like, the Rhea painting with the fisheye lens and the cyan colors, it worked because it was just a study. There was no sort of creative workload on my end. So that made things quite easy. I think I gotta try to up the difficulty this time by getting some more hands-on with some of the artistic choices. And then maybe we can try to find references that help us make it work. That would be the proper way forwards. It will make it quite a lot harder, but anyways. Indeed, yeah, 100% the virus. I'm kind of scared of this hairstyle because you see so much hairline, dude. Holy shit. Is this even a thing in anime? I've never seen this, I feel like. I feel like I've never seen people draw this much hairline. Actually properly scared of this. They will look really weird. That's why this lady staring me in the face in the photo. I can't believe this is a real hairstyle. I also haven't really followed through with my desire to sort of commission artists, because the more I think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, I don't really care if, like, you know, like someone else draws my characters. I really just want to be the one drawing them, like, especially if I have to pay a bunch of money for it. And then it's like, yeah, how do I justify this again? And then I'm just kind of, oh shit, oh, I made the forehead too big. Oops. Well, I guess I'm going to have to do this. I kind of hate doing this, but we don't have a choice. So I'm not about to redraw it. Looks kind of weird. Doesn't really work in anime, I feel like. Just forget about the head. Pretend that it's not here. I don't know. Anyways, I got some stuff here collected because I wanted to do something that is a little bit more advanced. Hello, Curio. I'm talking about... What are we talking about? About, like, people... About how I want to be... better so we can, like, teach people things or something. I don't know how we got there, actually. I don't know how I got here. It's okay. I want to draw something that's a little bit simple. Like the pose and idea itself is simple, but we try to bring up the quality by taking in some elements from these pieces here. Either if it's the colors, I like the colors and rendering of this one. It's got some nice brown shades here, along with some textures, you know. Like these colors here work pretty well together, but it is quite a yellow-orange palette. I do like more sort of red-purple direction. This one here is primarily for this type of sort of canvas composition, like where you have very clear separation that isn't necessarily... Maybe in this case it's like a curtain or something, but I mean the lighting is clearly kind of insane. But regardless, it's more about sort of breaking the fourth wall. Jesus. I know there's another one here from a while ago. Am I drunk? Wait, hang on. Yeah, not pull it in. I think I did. This one. But you just have like white areas for no reason. I don't know why it's here. I don't know why it works, but it does. So cool, I guess. Let me bring these guys over as well. What is this? All right. This is the idea I had during the weekend. So sometimes I do try to sketch, but I have zero sort of motivation to push through it. So this is this. It will literally be a one-for-one copy for this section here, but with like sort of a glowy horizon line. And it's going to be sort of more industrial kind of setup here. And then it's meant to be sort of... It's meant to be like a ultra wide, so it keeps going. But everything is going to be super dark. Like super dark, and only this part is red. Measure the eyes basically face most of the times. Also, hello miso soup, 1932. Are not symmetrical or bigger on the other side. There's no... Okay. There are ways that I've seen people do it. I personally do not use this. Because when I draw, like for so long I've been drawing mostly sort of just by feel, like what you're saying. Like, hey, it looks a bit bigger, it looks a bit smaller. But I think this is I don't know what guidelines you use, but this is pretty common, right? Where you have a circle, and then you have this, and then people will put like a sort of a ribbon thing over here. And then assuming this is where the nose is, right? You kind of have some amount of space here, some amount of space here. And then you try to draw within the box, like this. This way it will keep things a little bit more controlled. Like this. And then of course you have to kind of eyeball the eyeball the pupil, the iris, the pupil. Shit, I don't know which one. Like the color part here. And then you get rid of the box, you know. You could do the box on a different layer so it doesn't affect you. And then you put in the rest of the frame here. You can see I'm not very good with the guides because I kind of missed the mark, right? The circle is all the way over here. It's kind of tiny. Where in fact I kind of would need it to be about this big, I think, for what I have drawn. There's a problem with not using guidelines often is that you kind of... Yeah, you know, I don't know how to use it properly. I rely a lot more on just it feeling right rather than the sort of syntax of the guidelines, if you will. And then afterwards, you add in the nose where appropriate, you add in the mouth where appropriate. Eyebrows where appropriate. And then that's one way. And then, so if you change any other direction, the thing to keep in mind is that you still kind of need to know what you're doing. It's not like having the strip will make you 100% able to do it in any angle and on this and that. You still have to know the fact that, oh, a skull, when you're looking up like that, the ribbon kind of curves like this. It kind of sort of comes down a little bit. Like this kind of comes down like this. Usually it might be a little bit less pronounced. It might be more straight on the sides. But the perspective, if it gets a little bit more extreme, it would be also a little bit more extreme here. And then the nose might be entering into this. Like, I feel like the only way to know something like this is that you have studied it before. Like, you have practiced drawing this before, and then you failed, and then you look at how other people do it, and then you learn, and then that's the only way you kind of know that this is how it works. You can see in this case, the circle actually isn't very useful. I only placed it at here because I know roughly the forehead is going to be about this big, and again, it's just because of just seeing it. So I'm not very good at teaching this. Case in point. I was just talking about this, but anyways. And then the eyes are kind of like here if they're looking forwards. But yeah, if it's just trying to like sort of keep things about the same size, I would say like looking at it and feeling it and flipping the canvas and leaving it for a few days and coming back to it is how you hone your skills. Over time, you will get a good sense of it and you will get it right every time. Like you will like not get it right directly, but you will feel like it's wrong. And then that's where you come in and try to fix it. But you will get the feeling like, hey, this feels wrong thing pretty quick. You wouldn't have to wait like 1 or 2 days. In the beginning, you might have to. And that's just part of the process, I think. There's not much you can do about that. Some things should just come a little bit slower. But at the very least, like if you have a box like that, it might help keep things a little bit more in sync, you know. But you see how it's not always an even split, because it depends on how the face turns. If it's turned that way, then you see more of this eye, right? Like, and then the other eye might actually be entirely cut out. That's why sometimes people just do the eyelash like that. But anyways, you can try doing this if you haven't done this before. Otherwise, the only other advice would be to just see what other people do and try to copy that. Right, you don't have to do like a bunch every day for like 2 months or 3 months or something like that, you know. Just work it into your workflow. Like I just did this today. I just did that today. I'm not really gonna necessarily try to remember the muscles. I'm not gonna try and remember what I did with the folds here. But just go through the motion. Of course, if you have capacity, I think it's best to try to be a lot more like sort of active in your mind to try to memorize and really analyze and break it down. But I don't want to learn too actively because it's very tiring. So I just go through the motions. Like that. A little bit a day just kind of stacks up, you know. And then at some point you just feel like, hey, this looks wrong. And then you just change it. And then it's like, oh, this looks better. And then it just works. And then after that, you wait a little bit more, you do that a little bit more times, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, I don't know why this, it just works. Hot Howard, it just works. But yeah, I don't know if that's helpful for you. You see, like, it's not a very foolproof method. Like, you have to do this a lot. If you want to use this ribbon strip thingy thing, you want to also do it when you study as well. So you can see how other people's stuff fit into this guideline of yours. And then from there, you build experience of how to use the guidelines, and then the guidelines become useful. Otherwise, just using someone else's guidelines isn't really gonna do too much for you either. But either way, so I'm just kind of rambling on. Is this angle? Wait, hang on. This angle might push it here. Even if they're looking there because of the perspective. The actual opening is a little bit more receded into the overall eyeball here. Like that. Because it's inside. But anyways, that's over here. This is the only sort of structure that I've seen people draw eyes. Everything else, like whether if your character is this kind of eyes, or like neutral, or like this. There are like, I don't know if there's any specific guides or anything for each one, or like what, or maybe I guess you just put a box around each one and then call it a day. But I would say you have to spend quite a bit of time experimenting to get a feel for it, I think. Guidelines is interesting. in the beginning, I feel like I see a lot of people arguing about, hey, this guideline is better than that guideline, or this one is easier to use than that. It's the same thing, dude. Like, if you spend a lot of time using it, it becomes very easy to use. If you haven't, then you have no idea how to use it. I think I'm pretty sure 300-400 streams ago, I cannot use a circle to estimate heads because I don't know where to put the eyes. I don't know where to put everything in here. I will do a circle only to break up the canvas so that I don't feel scared. But I only ever look at the cross. So I will do this. I'll put it right in the middle. I will draw the eyes here. And then once I put in the face, I realize the circle is bloody useless. And then I make a bigger circle. Every time I did this. Now I get a feel for it. I'm like, oh, okay, the circle is here. That means the cheeks are kind of here. And I try to reverse it. But this always kind of fails a little bit. Because putting the eyes in this state is so foreign to me. I hate this. I despise this. Actually, now I can kind of do it, but only because I already know what I'm going to do. And this sucks. Right, yeah. Here we go. Why I redraw a bigger circle? Right. Very relatable. Holy shit. But yeah. I need ideas. Oh my god. What do I do here? Bonk. Let me flip this back. So, I think I saw something where it's just character sitting, legs pointing. So we're behind the character, and then the legs are kind of pointing this way. Character body is tilted this way. The music's still going, okay. This is an interesting angle because what we can do is push the... Sorry, I'm just moving on here. It's the end of my rant about eyes. So I don't have much. That's all, folks. I don't know where this hand's going, but it could be an edge, right? It could be a latch over here. And then we can have buildings below, this and that. That's what I saw today. I don't know where I saw this, though. Like, I couldn't find the reference again for the life of me. I thought I bookmarked it on Twitter, but I couldn't find it. And then from here, I don't know whether it's a good cut for the canvas, because I think this arm here is kind of useless. Would it be interesting to have the hand up here pulling someone's clothing? Seems kind of scary, but... yeah, you can put more buildings behind. You can have streets. Or no streets. Depends on the value setup, I think. Like, the specific details would depends on how the values are gonna work. I think it would be interesting to have, like, the front dark. Everything is dark on the sides, and, like, especially the top of the buildings. And then the closer we get down, the brighter it is. So it'll be bright in the center, silhouette against the character. And the legs. And whatever this hand is doing. This hand can be a central focus. Or not, you know. It can be anything. One idea that I had at work, but... let me see if I can get something else here. Hmm. Oh, right, yes. The other types of, the other ideas that I have was just like, okay, I ran out of space. Was just a very generic pose with Rhea. So we're going back to Rhea. I don't know why I said that. The previous one would have been Rhea too, but... I don't know what the hands are doing. We can have doggos here, maybe. Maybe not. How about this target? So I do the other way. No, not nose here. Which way tilt? Target is... Oh, go up? Okay. And then, oh, sorry, I stopped talking about the idea, but the idea is just simple pose, simple-ish setup, right? We do this, and then we try to do some Arknights-esque sort of render, where we kind of go a little bit over on the details. Yeah, I actually, like, thinking about it now, I feel like maybe this should have been the case from the beginning, right? But I don't know why I didn't realize that if I never really like a singular style, then doesn't that mean that we definitely should just embrace having multiple styles? Like, I know we've talked about different stylizations and this and that, but in my head, I still very much was thinking, like, we should get one style and do one thing. But, like, having done, like, the more simplified ones before, right? I think it's gotten some of that sort of energy out of wanting something simple. Because this basically sort of takes away that sort of desire to want to do super simple and super thick lines and this and that. And now all of a sudden I feel like I'm more willing to try sort of something that's maybe a little bit thinner lines, you know, maybe a little bit more I don't know, more complex in a way. Complex in a way that doesn't necessarily make physical sense. Because unless you see people render shapes, they're just kind of shapes. They don't necessarily tie into very specific physical forms and this and that. It is just there to add detail. And I could never really accept that until maybe now. I feel like maybe that's doable. I don't know. But regardless, I think it's good that we did what we did before. Because now I kind of have something ready to go. It kind of ties to, where is it? To this original one? Actually, it's very similar what we're doing for the one. It's just that the lines are slightly thicker and the lines are opaque. But the texture, the sort of complexity and this and that is always been... It's about the same. So we have two examples of the style. We have this, which is slightly more shapy. And then we have the other one, which is as simple as it gets. And then they can kind of, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but progress. Haha. Oh. And then we don't care. I'm not going to care about comp. I'm not going to care about... sorry, I do have to care about comp. I mean, primarily just how the character fits. You know, I do have to care about that. Never mind. Anyways, neurons are a little bit activated today because I really want to get something set here. What's the other hand doing? I want the legs to not really be standing on anything because it gives that sort of those poses where your character is just kind of floating. And if you remove sort of any sort of physical, like, sort of environment from it, all of a sudden it feels more free to do whatever you want with the background. And also, there isn't like their sort of perspective requirement on the body becomes a little bit lower because now it's not grounded. Because then no one can say that, hey, your character looks weird and not look like she's in the scene because she's not really standing on anything. Anyways. It's like, haha. Wait, am I flipped? No, I'm not flipped. And then for dress, clothing-wise, it would be like some kind of a t-shirt or something. No, not a t-shirt. What's it called? I don't know what's it called. Like a tank top or something. Yeah, no, like, so, okay, it might seem like that. I've just been spending a lot of time at work today thinking about what I want to do. Because, like, yeah, I mean, I just, like, it's not necessarily a big source of stress, but I do stress about, like, what I want to do sometimes on stream. Because I feel like things have been kind of aimless recently. We haven't really been making any concerted push. I've been told by Google that it's pronounced concerted when it's used in this way, but I always thought it's concerted, but anyways. But yeah, because of that, I spent a bit of time today at work. Because I spend time during the weekends too, thinking about this. And having tried to plan... I think I did something... Wait, hang on. Did I? I think I drew something. Oh yeah, I was trying to plan out the next Kiki. Like, so... Kiki is interesting. Design-wise, she's meant to sort of have things that I don't like. Because she needs to be the exact opposite of Faye. And also what I kind of believe. Like, what she believes in is supposed to be different, right? It's a bit more of a naive and a lot more kind and optimistic view of the world. So design-wise, I feel like it should reflect that. But then at the same time, if you do something that you don't like, then it stops you from drawing it. So I don't know where the line is. And also, I don't know how to reconcile the two proportions. I think with this face proportion, something doesn't look right with this. I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure what the problem is myself right now. And so I kind of tried this and I kind of got stuck and I don't really know what to do with it. And then I didn't do anything else, I think. Yeah, I didn't do anything else. I was gonna go compile a bunch of like Faye sketches to go with the Ria sketches, and then I wanted to save everything out into individual images and then dump it on my side. But this thing is so tedious. Like, it's actually already all here, but I have to go through all the files again. Not this one, but like all the Clip Studio files we've ever touched for the entirety of the 400 streams. And I kind of got a little bit tired before I even started, so I didn't end up doing it. But yeah, anyways, these legs kind of look weird. Maybe I can do this. I don't like this. Anyways, it's gonna look kind of... Oh, I think it's because the feet is up. I need the feet to be down. Something doesn't feel very right here because of the pose not really making sense, but... Sorry, not being grounded. There's also some odd amount of space. I think I would like to pull this guy over. And then her arm would be broken like that, but... Yeah, the comp doesn't really necessarily feel... Oh yeah, the face is here, right? If I shift over, it's gonna be too close to the edge. I think this comp is very much a center thing. Even though the legs are kind of going to the side and there's nothing here. So I think here's the thing, right? Like, if we want to do something that is kind of a little bit more complex like this, where there's like effects or hair or like debris or just clouds or blobs of colors for no reason, then by definition, without those blobs right now, the sketch, it should look not balanced, right? Because if it looks balanced now, wouldn't that adding more stuff throw it out of balance? But I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. So I think the next step, if I were to go with this, let's say we go with this, because I realized that we spend too much time thinking sometimes. I realized that a long time ago. Now I'm actually trying to change it. But like, if I could just figure out what to put here now, what we could possibly do for here. So okay, first of all, I think we start with the big strokes, right? So the big strokes would be, if I want to do something like these three over here. I don't know how to line these guys up. They're kind of like oddly shaped, but these three here, they have this sort of weird sort of breaks that doesn't make sense, right? Like, why does this turn to white? Why does this turn to white? You know, why is there a border here? This one is still arguable. Maybe it's like some kind of curtain or something. I don't know why the curtain looks like it's melting. What are they even doing, actually? What's this lady doing? Are these shadows? Are these cast shadows from somewhere? Is it from our direction? No, oh, it's from the flowers. Okay, so the light source is us. So it's like this because of physical objects, I suppose. The lighting is kind of crazy, but... Right, anyways, if we want to do something like this, where would I cut this, right? So I think there's a few examples here. Maybe these two are similar in that the characters stay in their own sort of regime, right? Either it's the dark side or the light side. This one kind of crosses a little bit, but in general still within. Yeah. So if we were to do this, where am I gonna put it, right? Would it make sense to have her head be like dark and against a white background, you know, like something like this? But does that mean that everything below is dark? Actually, I should do this on different layers so that I can keep the option, maybe. This is quite dark, right? This guy doesn't care about the opacity settings. Oops. Why didn't I use a bigger brush, dude? Right, if I were to do this, what is going on? Like why am I gonna put in the back? Is it gonna be white? Or is it going to be something that is just bright for some reason? Anyways, option 1. No idea. Option 1. Oh my god, my wire is stuck underneath my keyboard. I cannot press my key, bro. DDoS by wire. I'm gonna merge this down. I'm gonna make it smaller. I'm gonna go sit over here. Let's sit half canvas here. And then I can take this out. Yeah, I mean, like, what else can I do, right? We don't have anything else to really... Oh, but that's up for me to add, though. Let me think. What if I flip it? Just flip it real quick. What difference does it make, right? If it's the lakes, just the lakes that's dark. I guess Mr. Woofy over here is also kind of dark. I don't know how the lakes look, but... Same for you. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I guess we're putting focus on the lakes like this. And then maybe the hair and the tail a little bit. So not much left, I guess, after this. This could be kind of cool, right? Like just seeing the legs. What if we even like take out the this part a little bit? Oh, it's kind of strong. If I do this, in reality, I guess the line art will also be taken out. So, oh shit, I can't really do it. How about I have to do this and this. Oops. I think if we do it like this, maybe the dark part can be like stars or something like galaxy stars, weird circles, auroras. We could actually borrow this, or just the sky like that. It could work. Could work. I suppose it could work. Anyways, either ways, we keep it, of course. What else can I do? Sideways? Sideways, we could do something aggressive, I think. So she's always got the like sort of white wolf and black wolf. Sorry, what is this? Empty layer. Right. So it could just be half-half. Like canvas could be half-half. So how do I do this? Let me just make everything dark first. Oh wait, it's starting to lag. Shit. Never mind. Would there be a difference of like which side should be dark and white? I think no difference. Alright, what if like I take out exactly half? Um Could be interesting, I suppose. Oh shit, it's too big. Rear ass legs, but could be like this. And then whether if we have drop shadow or not, I think that's dependent on how sort of quote unquote realistic this is. Because some of these canvas cuts, I don't know what to call it, but these canvas compositions, they don't, it's not like it's light, right? It's not light. This is light. This is not. It's kind of crazy, actually. But I guess this would be just a wave effect that we were doing the other day anyways. They just somehow made it radio. I think maybe you can make it radio. Can you not make it radio? Ripple, maybe? Measure distortion. I don't know what this is. What is it doing? Is it making it round? It's not really making it round. Anyways. Another option. Another one. Of course. I don't know why I'm making that. Could be the other way or something. Can I invert this? No, I cannot. It doesn't work like that. Dang it. Alright. So I wonder what it would look like if it were the other way. Oh, I forgot to erase the... Oops. I forgot to make the wolf on the other side white. Whoops. Doesn't work like this. Forgot to do this. It's not really gonna work very well now because I merged the layers. Oh, is that right, Curio? I hope it fixes itself. This is a weird cut because it picks the entire legs. It clips the body. This clips the body in two, but it feels a little bit more balanced for some reason. I don't know. vertical is where? This. Okay, otherwise we just do entire canvas. What if I instead made it bigger lengthwise? This. Let me copy this. The entire thing would be too much. But what if it were... it's kind of... I have to find a lot of things to fill the sides. I'm just wondering if I want a sky. If you want sky, I guess you need more space. The vertical ones looks kind of cramped. This looks like it's way too spacious. But maybe it will work. I don't know. We're gonna try it real quick. Oops. My keyboard? Oh, my keyboard went Japanese again. When my hotkey doesn't work, it's because it went, it changed the... Yo. Uh-oh. I think my pen is stuck. Shit. Alright, there you go. It was hallucinating that I was still picking the pen. My pen was miles away from the board. Very scary. Push that down. This. Got some weird sort of feathery texture on the edges. I wonder why that is. I don't know if that's lag or what. Oh, I need dripping mask for this for sure. Oh, okay, you know, it's way too difficult to do it like that. I'm just gonna do this. That's not quite the same, huh? Actually, thinking about this one, there is additional light source from the left. Otherwise, all these guys would not be lit. Even though, like, the sun seems to be setting in the back. With this lens flare looking thing, it feels like it's in the back. But I guess maybe not. But everything else seems to suggest that it's in the back. Regardless. I also really like the render and color of this. I always wanted to do a study of this. Maybe now is a good time as well. The similar colors with Amiya, right? Yeah, it would be. Oh, but then again, this would not feel like it's quite the... I mean, we have to bring up the render quality, which could be kind of hard like this. I was thinking, like, if you want to do Arknights level as kind of render, we would need to find some artists that does pretty tight renderings of complex shapes. But if I agree with those shapes, that's a separate idea, right? That's an entirely separate thing by them. But we will need someone like that for our anchor. I'm not feeling any of these too much. There's always the challenge, I think, with like trying to be more in control. You kind of have to have ideas. Without enough conviction, it becomes a little bit hard to execute. Like studies, at least you just turn off your brain and you copy. But if it's like this, you know, you literally lose sight of what you want to do. And this is really cool though, this render. Like, look at all the brushstrokes here. Just floating around. And then also these... The lens flare... I don't know if this is also a lens flare, but this light affecting is also kind of lining up the code a little bit. Kind of interesting that it lines up like that. More scratching here, a lot of colors, but... Yeah, I wonder how they put this in. It feels like overlay or some kind of hard light or glow or something. Have a texture brush and you go over it. Yeah, this is pretty I forgot who drew this. I think it's in my system thingy though. It's worth a study for sure. Big shapes help you with it. We could, yeah, it's just a matter of specifics by then. Yeah, all these ones as well, I guess. But I guess we could change the color of the wolves if we have to. Or we can just make it pretty dark. Actually, are there any examples of... Yeah, like white color over here got pretty dark. I suppose we could make it a study of this and use this. We can do the dark sky, but the bottom we can keep it bright and like in a different regime of light. With or without any explanation. Looking at light source, I see. Let me see, Kirio. Let me see if I can find this for you, I think. It should be in the system here. Let's see. Color. Blankness score against... Let's just do... Saturation, maybe? I actually don't know what it is here. Similar to Min's piece that we did study before. Oh, it's here. Alright, here you go, the source. $20 old. Holy shit. It is very cool though, some of these effects. I think we should try to do some of these things. A study would be the best way, because otherwise it's always kind of hard to find a good place to put it. Like, but if you do it once and see how it's used in the original, it becomes a little bit easier. Because you have that one data point. It's always different having done it once yourself than just looking at it and trying. You know? I suppose we could... Anyways, it's pretty goated. Oh wait, let me think about this. So I just saw the lights in the back and I realized that it would be nice if there's optionality to do some photo bashing as well, and just in the back. So you know what, like this is easy, right? So okay, not that this is easy, but this is a comp. So I think we can go with this. Yeah, no, any one of these should be fine, I think. Even this should be fine. And then we will just find stuff to bash in the back. I think it could be cities, it could be clouds, it could be random other patterns. Hang on, let me grab. And then we can do like a study of this as well. Like, and see what kind of textures we can shove in there. The skies could have stars, right? Then near the horizon, there could be like a mountain silhouette. There could be that, let me think about it. So what would be the mood, right? Like something like this is a bit more solemn, it's a bit more quiet. You don't want to have too many sort of those kind of light type of contrasts, I suppose. This one doesn't really have that constraint. It's just like, I don't know what emotion this is, honestly. Maybe slightly melancholic, which I guess doesn't really have a requirement on like it having to be dark or anything. It tends to be more... Oh, I see. Melancholy for me is more of that sort of contrast is a bit muted. In this case, contrast is not that muted, but it's just how like the colors on the face are very grouped. That's why it feels very moody here. It's all orange. Even though there's this strong contrast here, but it feels very moody still. Where's my light source, actually, if I do this? Where's the light source for this other one? Backlit, I see. Not really related. It's just whatever that's in the scene. What would our scene be if the sky was dark, right? This is too solemn for sure. It's too... doesn't fit the energy of the pose and like what these guys are doing, so... something else. Yeah, I can't have stuff like this, unfortunately. I really wanted to have something like that has these buildings in the back, but I think because of the way the shapes work, this is too loud. If you look at this, I think this works because the characters are just silhouettes, right? They're quiet. Actually, the focal is more, like to me, is more of the building itself. Rather than the characters in the dark. So if we have characters as foreground like this, as the main focal, the background cannot be that noisy, that loud. It can be noisy, but it cannot be loud, I think. So you can have a lot of shapes in there, but it shouldn't have big stuff like this that draws your attention away too much. As much as I would like to put in cool buildings like this in the back, but we could still put a little bit in the distance, I think. Although, I have to say, I feel like the bottom being this bright kind of takes away from the whole thing a little bit, maybe? Because if everything were dark... but then again, it's never meant to be that. I don't know. Actually, now I'm thinking, can I make this part orange? Like, it's like this, but flipped. I don't know how it will justify the light only hitting the legs. Maybe they're... It can be one of those crazy comps where... they're actually just in a corridor, right? Kind of like this. They're in a corridor where the light spills in and only hits the bottom. Like that. But in the darkness, in the shadow that's being cast on the walls by the ceiling somewhere, we have a different scene in there. So we just ignore reality for that part. We kind of break the fourth wall. I've also always wanted to do that. We don't have an example here, I think. Could be an opportunity. I suppose we could just do that. I'm kind of sold on the idea. Kind of sold on it. Seems very cool. I'm just trying to find an example to see if I can convey my screen's black. Convey my ideas a little bit clearer on stream here. Oh, this color is, yeah, I really like that color. Oh, this is also pretty nice. Yum, 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 yum. Anything here? Nothing? Interesting. I'm gonna hold on. Sorry, what is this? Oh, I'm just gonna set up for this one. Why are these guys here? Oh, it's because of the original Hong Kong planning, which we've kind of strayed quite far away from, but I suppose as long as we're painting. Yeah, you know what? I'm just like a freaking Olympiad at a... Not Olympiad, I'm like a fucking Olympic athlete at mental gymnastics, right? Because I can just ban it. Like, if I do render this, if I do the Hong Kong stuff, I'm like, yeah, look at us, on our way, right? If I don't do it, and I do painting, I'm like, yeah, I'm still practicing painting. Of course it's fun. If I do like that simplified style, I'll just be like, oh yeah, we're just taking a break, but we're still painting. We're getting our energy out. Like, for like simplified stuff out as well. So it's great. Everything works. Always correct. I'm just gonna hold on to these guys. Actually, why do you make it so tight and hard to hold, dude? I'm gonna copy these, bring them back, push them in here. Orange, orange, orange hue glad. And then the legs, we can have different treatments as well, I think. Yeah, it's up to... No, we do have to figure it out now, actually. That's what the rough process is for. So I guess these guys are not really related. Yeah, stars and sky in the back can get a little bit darker. And then... in the middle of the picture. Right. I mean, okay, so what you're saying then is that when artists draw, they try to sort of replicate that on the canvas, right? I don't know if that would necessarily be a consideration. I feel like it would be more of just like they wanted more colors in somewhere that people can see, like near the focal, which tends to be in the middle of the canvas. Yeah, dark high contrast. Sorry, I'm sold on the idea. I'm trying to imagine the things might pop up that might cause us problems because do I want white wolves or no? Which one would be better to be white? I think shape-wise might be better on... Not on this side, because my light is kind of like the bottom here. This kind of fits along with the... Hello, Debate. With the rest of the stuff. And then we have this... Rocco Shirako. Thank you, Duvet. Discord. Thank you. Are the resorts? Shit, where is it? Pretty cool. That's like a... It feels like it's all very textured, but there are areas that are quieter. Although maybe I'm not looking at the right sort of scale. A bit too zoomed in there, but... Are there like no shadows? Everything feels like they're on full bright. In the source engine, full bright mode. Are there no shadows? What? It's like some ambient occlusion, maybe? Oh, I suppose this is in shadow, but... Okay. This feels like you would see someone draw on like the side of the road, you know, like with like watercolor and this and that. That's an interesting color for the sky though, actually, I just realized. This is not... like... as natural. I suppose it could be, but like it feels like it's very specifically chosen to balance out the stuff here. As usual, it's always like the quiet areas that is interesting. Burp. Right, see like this? This is interesting, right? Because it's a scene that ties up, but like it has this framing in here. So I guess the logic is like this background here is kind of like a nice postcard looking scene. And then by doing this, they're not only framing this, but also making this part quieter to see the... Okay, this is kind of interesting. Because now you see the character very clearly, and otherwise it would have been like a bunch of trees in the back, I suppose, but... I see. It's saying that all the stuff that they have drawn recently from Europe, you can find all of the references on their page, which, oh, apparently they have a whole link here. Oh. How nice. Like, okay, I don't know why more portfolios don't let you zoom like a little bit more. So there's some portfolios where you can't even zoom. This one, at least you can zoom one level. But if people don't do this for some reason, where you can just, like, just keep scrolling. I don't know why that's, like, not standard. Maybe I guess, like, most people are not gonna bother zooming in, but... There's a paint bucket, though. Oh my god. You can see the pixels on the edges that didn't catch properly. And I guess they just paint over it. I suppose if you don't mind it while you're working, like you can evaluate the overall and see past these dots. Like it's actually a nice way to show you where you have it painted over. But then again, why would you need that? You wouldn't need that to tell you that. You can see that. So never mind. But interesting. Just paint. This is a just paint moment. And line art comes in afterwards. Is this final? What does final look like? Oops. Oh, interesting. So it's almost like they did another rough while in this state here, and then they finished it off, and then they actually just took out most of those sketch lines too. Replace it with actual renders and shapes. This is also interesting. I don't know like if it's possible to do stuff like these nowadays, you know, like actually bring your bike onto these areas. I feel like with the number of tourists, like they wouldn't let you do this, because like then there'll be too many people doing it and it's gonna like break something. Water reflect fetish? Wait, hang on. Oops. Oh yeah, I do see a bit of it. I didn't notice it at all. I didn't really see it. The green and like the shapes in there are quite interesting. Is it actually this blocky in there? Oh, it is pretty blocky in there. Why? Why is it like this? I guess whatever crystals these are, they cleave very nicely on like this cubic form, like this cubic way. Very cool. It is very interesting that everything feels like there's no shadows, but I suppose there are some. It feels like Fulbright and like a source engine. Because this one does have shadows. What am I looking at? Is this like a sculpture? It has to be a sculpture. What is this? I don't know. I don't know. Just a random lady sitting on a fish. Big fish. Is that a whale? Anyways. Do I want to paint nature? No, not really. I'm just looking at mostly at the techniques and some of the decisions made. Yeah, absolutely hates nature, dude. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, like, but I feel like there is a limit to like the amount of stuff I can glean from this, just because like it is rough, right? It is quite rough. You're now cleaning up the edges. It is very consistent brush usage with some kind of texture brush across the board. The colors are also not super crazy. Like we're not talking about like highly saturated outlines for no reason, you know, like that kind of more graphic design kind of as things. So at some point we're gonna get used to seeing these things. Maybe if we do a couple of studies ourselves, we would have maybe sort of captured everything that we can possibly learn and glean from these. And then it's kind of interesting, I suppose. Like right, yeah. But anyways, I think there are still these things though, like these extra colors here that I still don't really have a good sense for. Maybe they're just pulling from the sky, but why is this like that? Maybe it's pulling from here, like, but why? Or like, why not? I suppose. So rounding colors, but this is like RGB, literally, red, green, blue. Just I guess it doesn't mess it up. More colors. Yeah, thank you, Duvet. Poggers. Leave it in that state, right? I swear I had a... Did I not ping something today? I feel like I lost some bookmarks today. I am pretty sure I bookmarked more stuff today. I thought I had more stuff. Oh, I think maybe like Because I wanted to look for something that's more like sort of complex looking, but also like a clean render. So like all the edges are clean. This one, all the edges are pretty much clean. Like the render itself as well, you have these cuts that are pretty clean. Oh, big image. I don't need this anymore. This one I was interested in the hair. Like the darker tips are interesting. I like me likey. But this is still a white background, I guess. So it's not as oh right, and also this one. But I guess we're kind of like not doing the. You know what? We just let things happen. Uh, gonna bring some of these guys in just so I can have them here. This would be a good one. How do interesting. Line sequence needs to be clear. Okay, let's do the lines for this. I need to do. I want to try and make the edges a little bit clear. As in, how I'm gonna render it, I'm not sure. But clear edges is clearly a thing that I like, and that requires me to know where they are. So we do have to sort of plot this a little bit more convincingly. Proportion wise, let me see if I can use a new sheet here. I do like the front view. I think this one's a bit close, maybe the eyes. But the front view looks pretty nice. I have to rescale her a little bit here, maybe. And then other sequences are fine at this point in time. Smacks the spot. Yeah, tomorrow has a important thing that I have to deal with. That's true. I'm trying to pull one more reference for rendering. That's not a better one, huh? Okay, let's take the other one. Let's take this. So let's see. We have okay, these are adjacent. And then these are stuff that I was gonna use, but I'm not gonna use because they don't fit. These are just idea examples. They have served their purpose. Moving forwards is primarily the artists that we want to reference and replicate with the textures. Some sort of rendering, broad strokes, maybe some colors, some ideas over here. These guys could be useful for sure. They're a lot cleaner, but could be ideas in there that we can borrow. Because at the end of the day, it's still like a big shape that we have to make first and then we cut, right? So these are rendering guides. These are rendering guides. So maybe a proportion for the face guide, if I can. I think ours is pretty good. I think there are some similarity. I'm gonna just leave it here. Maybe there's something I can use, but otherwise it's fine. This sequence is closed. Hello, George. No, no, no. Never. Nature painter? Nature denier, bro. Nice nature? No, dude. Not nice nature. Oh my god, dude. How come they can't just replace all the trees with like air conditioners, huh? It's the big trees, man, I tell you. It's the big trees conspiracy. Yeah, absolutely. Nature is fake news, guys. Trying to see how to cheat this. Oh, I cannot do this. Yeah, I have to go all the way to the top, huh? Huh. We gotta go all the way to the top, huh? And then I guess no, it's this brown. Oh, shit, whatever it is. Never nature. Always man-made buildings. Come on, like it's so much cooler. Like industry, like this kind of industry, like ports, like what do you call it? Like smokestacks, right? Smoke, exhaust. Okay, exhaust sounds kind of disgusting, but smoke's also kind of disgusting. But like this is poggers, big poggers. Trees? I don't have trees on my board. I do have tree. This tree is not natural though. This tree is very unnatural, so it's cool. Um, I literally do not have nature reference, dude, on my board. I suppose like sky and clouds are like the only ones. Dang, it's impressive. I actually don't have one. I guess these might count. Wow, okay. Not a lot for sure. Okay, let's find our forms. Did my reference board get smaller? What? Make it smaller? Huh, weird. So I need the wolves. I need her. I need to maybe reevaluate this like pose a bit. Let me think about it real quick. Oh shit! What? Oh, wrong brush. Can I push them? It looks kind of weird. Never mind. The other, like this one feels like she's off her center, right, of gravity. So maybe like this, we can make this wolf a little bit more aggressive. So that it looks like they had pushed her over like that. Could be the way to go. What am I gonna do with this arm actually? Depends on where this nose is, I think. Oh, things are a bit too compressed. I see. I definitely shouldn't be like just like free balling this. Get our asses kicked like this. Barely getting over you. Sorry, Kirio. I don't think maybe on Friday. No promises though, because I do feel kind of tight for time recently. You've been gone for a while. I hope it's not like a big problem or something. You know, I hope you're enjoying your life and everyone's drawing and enjoying art. You know, you guys gotta enjoy art for my sake too. My half of enjoyment. You guys gotta do that part too. Screen. My God, stop going black. Oh shit. This wolf looks kind of slightly furry stylized with the eyes being like this. We do have to make that not make it a little bit more realistic, I think. It's got eyebrows and shit. Holy shit. Maybe like this more. Need bigger mouth here. I think I need reference. I turned the head a bit too much. Yeah. It's supposed to be. Oh, I see the sequence. Oh, I can feel it. Okay, hang on, hang on. I don't feel the pose though. What? Hmm. Is that a thing that they do where they raise their nose because you're stroking their back? And they're trying really to lean into it or something? Oh, away from it? Lean into it? Away from it? Hmm. It's very aggressive tongue. Holy shit. Face is kind of small too. No, wait, actually, compared to her, it's big enough. Oh, never mind. Target would be a bit lower, but bias to this side. Not biased enough, I think, maybe. Okay, that's fine. Shadows. Show you. Hmm? Alright, this size at the limit. Ish. Nose can go longer. Is the audio dead? Is it done again? Dang, dude. Higher. Higher. Turn. Tongue down. Set. And reset this breath. Let's see. Let's see. Oops. Too small, huh? Okay, this angle doesn't work. It's like too small of a wolf. Okay. Goodbye. New layer. Lower. Yeah, it's all the commands that's being issued in my head so that I can think clearly. Let me see. So set 1. Why can't I see it? Oh, I see why. I see. Because that would end up strictly. So if I do the same pose with a lower setting, then the ears and then the forehead here is mostly gonna block out most of it, I think. And then you have the cheek fur maybe somewhere around here-ish. And I guess the neck is coming out this way. The body is this way. Everything is foreshortened. I don't know how it's gonna work. And then like this. The legs will be viewing like kind of like a back view almost. Hello, show. Force that out of here. I do want the legs to cross like this. Don't know if it's a good idea to start drawing from the legs, but I suppose this is an option. The height-wise, maybe you have to be higher. The back of the paw, the underside of the paw here. Maybe it's like over here or something. I do not know. Let's just find a photo then. I don't have any good ideas. Let's do wolf. No, wait, dog. No, let's do wolf first. Looking up. It's always like weird, like trying to find references. I don't know what to type. It's not like there are names for these poses. Looking up back view. Oh, shit, no way. We do have something like that. We could take like the face for this from this. Sounds kind of gruesome. How about this? Excited. Play. Oh wait, I did hit the L. Huh. Do I want to do low post? No, I don't think so. I want the hits. Oh, but would it be too heavy around here? But it's fine, right? It's center. Hang on a second. Do I care about this? Right. Primary focal? Where's primary focal? Usual target would be here, into secondary somewhere across, along with some other secondary up top. So you can form like a good flow here. This is kind of empty, I suppose. I don't want anything low here. Unfortunately, it's going to be a bit center heavy. But I guess... It is interesting. Oh, hello, show. Sorry, I didn't see your message, but we are planning something a little bit bigger this time. I want to take this set up here. Did I draw the circle? Okay, my cabinet gets shot in the middle of that. I want to take this, right? And essentially it would be like this, where the bright stuff, the bright areas would be kind of orange. So it's like this, where you have like some kind of ceiling and the light is casting like the shadow, and like half of them are in the darkness, where it would be this half. Except that it's a little bit more abstract, as in like there are like bright spots here for some reason. So there's more silhouettes here. And then in the darkness here, in this darkness here, I'm going to be compositing in some, I don't know, like lights from like buildings, you know. We just do the photo bashing technique that I did for the Arknights ones from a long time ago. The ones with the scenes. What am I talking about? The ones, let me find it. Wait, where is it actually? I don't know where it is. It's in like a lot of older folders, so I don't have it. But... No, didn't I find one recently? I think I found one recently. Yeah, something like okay, this is just a thumbnail. I don't know what the picture was. Something like this, but not to this extent. You would just get like some very like tiny bits and bobs of lights, like this reference here. Yes, have a good night, Kirio. Thank you for coming. I guess good day. Everyone else, I think all of you guys are in like Asia or something. And but yeah, that's kind of like like this. Just a bit more muted. We wouldn't actually necessarily see the building silhouettes like these, because that makes it really, really noisy. But just like the specks of light. And then I'll see what I can do, I think. I haven't quite worked out everything yet, but... I'm gonna try and put the second wolf in a little bit harder, but I feel like maybe this is more balanced. This is a bit more balanced. Because having all the stuff stuck in the middle like this, also it kind of looks like a dick. But having all the stuff stuck in the middle like this feels a little bit too tight. We are gonna put stuff here, but it's not gonna be very obvious, right? The main thing is still here. Yeah, if everything's orange, isn't it a little bit too bright at the bottom? That means half the 1/3 of the canvas is going to be orange. Indeed, yeah, indeed, sure. One-third of the scene is going to be orange. The way this one works is only the face and upper body is lit up like that. That's why it's so noise. But we're taking like the brightest and more saturated, also good night George, part of the canvas and just putting it to somewhere that we don't want people to look at. It cannot be this orange then. It can be bright. It can be faded, but bright. Bright but faded. Sorry, yeah, my desire is to like copy as little as possible. Because the easy way out of this would be to just take the exact same values and colors and just replicate this, but with our 3 characters, or 2 characters. That would be the easiest way, right? And in that case, what you're learning is primarily sort of the, well, I guess the specific colors that are being used, as well as some other render techniques, because you're kind of doing like a study that way. But then, like, if we try to do it ourselves a little bit, then we gain some compositional experience too, because I can get to think about what I want to try and why it may or may not work. But again, like all of these things happens in my head, so it is kind of sort of limited in that sense. Like whether if it actually works or not, maybe someone who's more experienced and much better, they might actually make it work. But then for me, I couldn't just because I don't have the experience. But regardless, I think I am still thinking about it. Either way though, like we can delay colors. It's more of just because we need to lay out the characters, make them work, and then colors and blah blah blah, they can come in separately, slightly separately afterwards anyways. I'm gonna try and make this a little bit more balanced. We can put the other wolf head here, although it will leave more space here. But I guess we do want some space to see the back, especially if the horizon is not gonna be, it's not gonna be this high, right? The horizon. This is more of natural spot. Because it feels like our eye level is around this region, a bit lower. So if I do that around here, we can have like some buildings in the horizon. There may or may not be some stars in the top galaxy. Galaxy might be too noisy. Just some stars maybe. Aurora here kind of worked for them, so maybe it will work for us. It's kind of strong. Oh yeah, definitely it's not like necessarily a super unique thing. For sure. But I just feel like, sometimes I feel like I'm like very too dependent on what I'm seeing immediately in front of me, you know? Like if I came up with the idea by myself, I have no problems with executing it because I feel that I felt it and I really wanted, and I felt that it will work, and we executed it and it works, that's fine. But because I only have this idea, I didn't have that idea. And then I saw someone else do it. I'm like, yeah, let's not try to copy it to that extent, you know, like. I say as I'm copying exactly the same Aurora idea in the exact same shape, but I just want to test this out and see if this works, but I guess I do need to grab the rest of the values right through, but it's kind of hard to do it. Anyways, but yes, thank you for the suggestion, for sure. I don't know. It could work, it could not work. I think honestly, a lot of things could work. Because it just comes down to how you execute the values and the colors and stuff, which can be adjusted in the next phase, right? Still in the rough phase, but in the next phase, we still be able to do it. Oh wait, actually, I was too... What difference does this make? Why do you even bother? Get out of here. What is this? I don't know what that is, but that's the other one. I see that's a landscape. Try to see if we can make this work. I want to offset the hits a little bit. Actually, this will be the white one, I think. It might be too on the nose with Arknights, but like because it's modeled after Texas and Lapland here, the white and the black wolves that I drew in the past at least. How would this change this comp? Because it's blocking a lot of stuff here now all of a sudden. Yeah. The truth of the matter is that, like, even if you feel like you come out of it by yourself, like in my case anyways, I realized later on that it's because I've seen it before a long time ago and I just kind of forgot that I've seen it. And it resurfaced in my brain and I thought that it was original, but it was never original. So in reality, I mean, it's like, it's not really that big of a deal if it's the same execution, but... it looks like shit. But considering that we want to replicate some of the other brushstrokes as well, I think maybe, you know, I'm trying my best to add some original elements here. Is there anything original? Yeah, exactly, right? The conditions for like to make things original, we have to get stricter and stricter. You know, it's like it's not about just this scene, this color, but because of I'm doing it because of this reason. Or I'm doing it because of that reason. This wolf is in such a weird spot actually, because this is way too from our direction, which will make the body like here and like that. Didn't I already do this? Somehow. Yeah, this goofy ass wolf. I should have the other wolf giving like side eye to the other guys, like, dude. Doing an anger. Bro, just stop, bro. Bro, stop, bro. What the fuck? I thought I had the idea that like execute, like I thought this is doable, but it's is this doable? I don't have wolf anatomy in my head, and I haven't found a good reference. I guess I haven't really been finding it yet, but I thought you can put the hands here and then have the head kind of turn. But I guess I'm saying the body is kind of going this way, maybe. Control Alt H? No, it's Alt Shift H. We can do this. I just need a body for the pupper. Let's see it. Bro, get in there. No, I do not. I think it's kind of hard because there are like so many things that you could possibly do. I think there are only two things that make sense right now that I can think of, is that if you have references that you used before, maybe it's a good idea to hold on to them somewhere. And the other thing that you really should have is a inspiration board. It's not necessarily about like drawing something specific, but just pieces that really inspired you. That's what this is meant to be. That's what this was meant to be. All the pieces in here are specifically selected because... Oh, actually, no, that's not true. Half of them were selected because they're like sort of a representation of the artist's style. But I have a board here. I have some stuff that I manually took from Pinterest because they were inspirational. There were ideas. I see like this one that I wanted to use again. Well, you didn't know, but I was showing this earlier today. All these like crazy like Soviet USSR buildings. They're so dystopian, but I love them because like they're just like they look. This is not Soviet. I think this is Japan or Hong Kong. I think I don't know where this is. Looks kind of like Hong Kong with the gates. Do I only have one? Only one Soviet building? Huh. Anyways, what was I saying? Something about like inspiration and boards. Because this way you can find ideas that you like and see similarities in this and that. And you don't lose things that you... Sorry, what am I doing? I'm looking for reference there. Keep getting distracted. But anyways, yeah, this might take a while. Shit. This is not good. Spending some time is fine, but then based on experience, I know that there's a good chance that we get stuck doing this because like anatomy looking bad is quite damning, I think. It kind of like just takes whatever that you have and throws it out the window because it's one of the most fundamental things. You get it wrong and everybody, that's all they see, right? So I do have to do two things. Either we find a referee one and draw it correctly, or we don't draw it and we change comp. I need just a very specific angle of them, of like a 3/4, but for them to be walking away from us. But people don't tend to take that shot, you know, like it's not a very interesting shot. You either want them walking to us, walking sideways, or something else. Like a documentary might be easier to find. Oh, like this, something like this, but a little bit more this way still. Yeah, like these references, because the references serve different purpose, right? There are references that serves as like rendering guide, color guide, this and that, like move boards and this and that. These are just pure idea references. They're there to remind me of a thought that I had. What I call an activation is just an inspiration that I've had. This one had nothing? Alright, sorry. Actually, I don't know if there's anything explicit in here. I don't remember. But, the environment is not possible. What about extra? Is there anything here? This one doesn't have anything. Oh, right. This is everything. Never mind. Sorry. Stupid. Reset. Where the hell? Yeah. What am I doing? Right. This. I'm gonna grab this because we might not have anything better, but maybe this. I just want to see the body. We might be able to piece it together with these guys here. I'm just gonna put the head here, right? And then the body would be like this, maybe. The tail looks like it's kind of fucked. But, somewhere here. The body turns this way, and then the thing is here. I'm drawing my mouse right now. Could work. Could work. I think this could work. It would be nice to get one leg. It's reaching out in the right direction so that I can see where, how much of that leg can we actually see. Let's see. Meow, 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 meow. Oh my god. Cursed. Very cursed, dude. Holy shit. Unbelievably cursed. Screen is black. Top. I don't need this, but I'm gonna grab it anyways. I like grabbing stuff that's like stuff that you may not need, but it's like the same thing, but only slightly different. It's like one of those slightly 3D looking holograms. Like holographic paper or like cards or something, you know, you see a little bit of the angle change and it helps you get a better idea of the form. This is not quite the same since it's not that precise. It just feels nice to have, you know, hold on to it for a bit. Shit, I can't find it. Okay, let's try it. Let's just try it. Big pupper. So big. Where is it? Where's my big pupper? That's kind of small. Yeah, I'm just trying to see. Yeah, this is bigger. Okay, that's good. Although we haven't quite finished figuring out everything yet either. Oh, now I remember why the other one is lower in opacity, because I cannot see shit. Oh, okay, here. It'd be nice to get the layouts done today. Tomorrow I come in and see what's wrong, fix it, if I can. If not, then we can already move on to color rough. And then when I inevitably get burned out, we can go back to drawing simpler, like simple, cute stuff for a bit. And then come back to this again. It's kind of nice to have like a fallback now. Like the fallback isn't really necessarily because we spend time like figuring out the style and that, but it's just because like over time I think I figure out what the mental setup is. How to not expect too much out of everything. Because it's the expectation that really kills everything. I do have to make the ears maybe slightly smaller. Stupid. Can I see the eyes? You can. Okay then, that's fine. But does that mean I will see maybe like this? I'm getting kind of confused with the angles because this image is tilted. Because I see the frames of it, my brain starts to autocorrect for it and I get really confused. So maybe like this is where I want it, and I'm gonna copy a exact shape. Maybe do that. I want to see the. I never get back to competing. No, that's fine. Like sorry, not to say that it's good to abandon things, but that happens a lot, right? Like I think if you just look at the thumbnails that of all the streams, like there are quite a few that we haven't really finished. Most notably, the animations and also the Faye piece that I was planning before that got way too out of hand because I was trying to do things clean and I didn't have essentially the ass to sit on the chair for it. No experience to go off of, so it became really, really heavy. And then that got abandoned pretty quick. And I need to join this head to like somewhere around the shoulders here, I think. And we have to adjust a little bit based on our own requirements. Yeah, this might not work. I don't know, I can't see it. It's hard to understate like how important it is to know your mental state, I think, doing art. Because when I start to get really burnt out, I get a very clear idea that this is burnt. But I still continue because I don't have anything better for it. And then like the previous painting came up, right? That previous painting was like a good way to sort of move, but also not think too hard because all I did was copy reference. So that was a great way to do it. That was really quick and fast. Now that we have a bit more capacity, I'm trying to do more thinking, but once we burn ourselves out, inevitably, like it's definitely gonna happen. It's happened so many times on stream now, and I understand that it's not something that I can avoid. When it does happen, we have that to fall back on. We have like the simpler style to fall back on. But to understand that, hey, this is gonna happen. Hey, this is burning out now. Probably should switch to something else. I think that's pretty important to realize. Maybe it's like the wrong way to see it. I always felt like burnt out is something that shouldn't happen, right? A lot of times you think, oh, like you hear about work or like working culture and this and that. People are burnt out because they overworked and this and that. But maybe it's not just overworking. Maybe it's just a normal human thing to be like tired of doing the same thing over and over again, you know, and not see too much progress. Regardless of how sort of balanced everything was at work or not at work. Maybe burnout is inevitable, and it's just about managing it when it happens, not trying to make sure it never happens. Yeah, this doesn't look very good. Is that like a wolf model that I can download for Clip Studio? Maybe there is one. Okay, because this isn't going anywhere right now, I'm going to not let myself keep failing, because that is a great way to get yourself mentally really tired. Trying constantly and failing constantly. We're gonna do something that we might be able to do better, which is just figure out the anatomy. Notice I haven't done the hit yet, so everything is gonna get reskilled and reproportioned afterwards anyways, but in the meantime, it's a great way to just get some work done. I might have to make arms smaller, longer, like thinner, short, like fatter, that kind of stuff, but in the meantime, I can at least plot everything out. Fear I can't be able to try to do. Yeah. I think just like everything else, show. I have this problem a lot as well. Like, it's just, again, expectations, right? I understand that rendering is not possible to go from 0 to nothing instantly, even if you have a perfect reference in front of you. There are still techniques and balances and experiences that I lack. But same thing can be said for like planning and composition and coming out of your own idea. Even the process of coming out of ideas can take time to sort of refine. Well, it definitely will take time to refine, so again, like, expectations is just not to expect too much out of the initial, I don't know, perhaps even a couple years of work there, I say. But thinking of it like that is quite tiring, of course. So just think of it as just like, this current piece, you know, I know I don't have too much experience. Let's not expect too much out of it, you know. And what's like a good expectation will also take time to figure out, you know, like what is realistic to expect? Like if I can achieve like just, well, how much of the idea can I execute before I feel like it's like a good, hey, we done a good job this time, you know? That how much, where to draw that line, I think is also quite experience-based. So best to just go in with like a blank, empty thing and then just be like, yeah, I want to do this today. Let's just see how far we go. And then probably gonna suck, I suppose. But we're gonna do it, we're gonna finish it. Gonna do our best. And then, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how everyone else feels about it. That's the thing about being a human, I suppose. You never know how someone else feels exactly. I feel like this is kind of tight. This shoulder width is definitely too much for this hip width. I kind of like the fact that her legs are so thin that it looks like the wolves can just literally break it in one bite. Because there is that sort of crazy power comparison between the two of them. Well, between all of them here. So we might use the hips as reference and I'm gonna reskill the shoulders. I mean, it is still really hard, but definitely for sure. But I would say like, thank you, the virus. I would say that show, if you're trying to come up with ideas, like, you don't have to be, I don't know, like, I guess it's kind of hard to tell how you're feeling and thinking about it. For me, there's this tendency to be like, I want to come up with the best idea. It needs to be good in all of these areas. Composition, and like the poses, this and that. But like today, I came in, I know I needed an idea. All I did was, hey, just draw a character with funny legs. Like, I don't know why. Like, it still looks kind of weird to me that she's not very balanced. And then I was like, why not just put in wolves? We always put in wolves. I put in wolf. And now all of a sudden the wolf looks like he's pushing her over. That kind of works. And then once you have the sketch, it's still just a sketch like that, right? Then I started trying different sort of values. These are pretty simple, right? It's just like bottom, top, diagonal, like either way. And then get a feel for it a little bit more and say, oh, this looks fine. Let's just try this. And you can kind of go for it. How much curvature? What, you mean like the meat of it? Like how much like this curve here? That is a very technical question. I don't know if I can answer it. But I just know that like if you're going for really thin legs, imagine this is the hip, right? And then your crotch is here. The target I have in mind is just to try to keep it as straight as possible. Almost as though there's like no width at all. In reality, there is always going to be some, because the bones actually exceed this, if I remember correctly. In reality, it's always going to be some. Like that, maybe. Oh, oops, that's the wrong line. This might be a little bit too low, actually. I think it's not this low. It's probably around here. Because it kind of lines up with the crotch. I think I can't remember, actually. Yeah, it's way too many fucking lines here. I can't see shit. But yeah, it's not like the square here. So as compared to, rather, so this is, if you compare it, I guess we need a comparison here. As compared to like drawing a box. And then going like way out of the box and being like this. And then also making sure, so the crotch here. Maybe a bit higher. Probably more meat up top as well. And then also like this thigh gap here is completely gone, like because it's filled up with this. This is the only sort of differentiation that I can kind of actively think about, because I don't know how else the body sort of stores fat in that sense. How the hip curve for the calf and the knee curves? Oh, I'm not that particular about those. I don't really know. I can't answer about this part. I'm just going by feel. This is the only part I really think about. It's just trying to make sure that the legs are thin by having more space here and having less stuff outside, exceeding this box. Because if the hips are... the iliac crest is here, I try to make sure that it doesn't go too much. If the bones are here, then we end here. You know, they don't do this. Oops. Broke. Click. Yeah. I don't have anything particular for the knees. I'm not a very big like knee render realistic person. I don't know how to do it properly. I've seen those renders are kind of crazy that looks real. Always look kind of cool. It doesn't look like too out of place, I think. It is hard to do, but I think it looks like possible to fit into something a little bit more clean and simpler still, so that it might be worth learning, but it's still a lot of work to learn. It's like... standing straight as a front view, a number calf will be visible and make a side curve with the character, but I'm not sure it looks right. It's kind of hard to... I know what you're saying. But it's kind of hard to know exactly like if it looks right or wrong until I've seen it. And because there isn't like a very sort of clear set of rules for what is right or what is wrong, since human anatomy can be quite flexible in that sense. That's why some people, like, for example, even this leg here, this calf here, sometimes people only put curve here. There are people who put curves on both sides, but I guess it's slightly dependent on angle. But even for petite characters, some people might do this with this. But I like this. And I also always bend it, even though the bone isn't necessarily bent. I don't know if the bone is bent or not, I'm not sure. Yeah, just a quick look, perhaps. A very quick look. So this is not gonna make sense. We're not very good at feet anyways. Ankle positioning. Oh, I see why I'm freaking confused over this. No, I'm still confused over it. Never mind. Here's show. Oh, I see. You're literally drawing her. I see. I see. Thank you very much. First of all, um, I'm sure it's not gonna influence my decision, my comments, my effort at making the comments at all. But I don't know. I think it looks fine. Front view. Front view means the bones are like here, I guess, and somewhere in the middle. Wait, hang on. I know the bones kind of go to the side and come in, and I forgot how this part works. I don't know if it just goes straight down. Assuming it goes straight down, I suppose you could bump a little bit. But I honestly think it's a preference thing. My brush is also way too thick for this, but... I don't know, actually... I guess you could have more form, especially this leg here. So, this leg is more front-facing than this one, because the feet is kind of turned to the side a little bit. So I think maybe this one you could make this part a little bit more pronounced. So that there can be some visual difference. And sometimes it's interesting, right? Because even if you didn't necessarily draw this leg correctly here, over here, but if you show people that you have considered the angle and you've considered that this is it you know, it makes it feel like, hey, this maybe is meant to be like this. Because again, anatomy is kind of flexible in that way. If this is turned slightly, maybe the knee is like here, then maybe I will add this line here to show that there is like the knee is like somewhere here. But because the angle isn't that much, it's pretty much still just a straight line here. Then you might see the angle, ankle here. And I kind of forgot what the abstraction for this is. Which way is this go? Fuck. God, I don't know which way the triangle goes. This one here, I think I would just keep it simple because the knee will be facing front somewhere here. I do like what I'm seeing though. I do like the sort of the thinness of it, like because her whole design is meant to be frail and weak looking. This is a very hard to peg curve here because it's very subtle. Dang, dude. Actually, this is too aggressive, I think. Yeah, I think it's about the same, yeah. The feet, if you want to do the feet, you can study this thing. Sorry, the music ended, I didn't even realize because I'm listening to my own, but hopefully it hasn't ended for too long. You can study this for feet. This one is really good. Just go through it, you know, I don't know, a couple times, and then, well, technically you're supposed to go through it until you remember it, every single thing. Then that's how you know, you know. But like, so dry, dude. Holy shit, it's so boring. Takes a fucking psychopath to do that. But sometimes you gotta be a little bit crazy, I suppose, to go through this entire process. Yeah, I think maybe like this would be slightly better because right now this line here looks like it's one. It looks like this to me. It looks like you did this. You know what I mean? Like that's like it starts here, curves a little bit like that, and it kind of enters. This bump here looks like the knee is almost like on here. Almost. In reality, there is like a muscle that goes from the iliac crest here somewhere that comes this way. And then if the crotch is like here, there's like a bump. So if on like sort of rounder characters, right, chubbier characters, you see, I forgot what this is called, like this inner thigh part is here, and then this will have a bit more meat. But if she's gonna be so thin anyways, like you can just go straight, I think, even. Like the curve will mostly be around here, like the meat will mostly be around here. This probably be quite a lot leaner. And then the meat will be around here, it's probably a lot leaner. So it'll be more like meat here, a bit thinner here, a bit thinner here. And then it kind of just goes in because it's front view and she doesn't have enough meat to really pronounce this part, I think. Ah, yes, thank you. It is quite loud. Wow, okay, yeah, it went into the yellows. Some of these things are not very balanced. Very sad. But yeah, anyways, I hope this is I hope you caught that. Maybe it's too loud. Maybe it's too damn loud. Stupid ass music. Then you do have to balance the legs a little bit. Maybe it's the other one. I'm not sure. Actually, I will need to see the hips, I suppose, but just roughly, this is about right, I think. I feel like there's a bit too much gap in the middle, depending on how this is. Target main section here, or secondary would be, oh, but this doesn't make sense. What about, yeah, just straight, right? So sequence in, out feels a bit more balanced. But that's quite the change in angle, so maybe not to that extent. Yeah, so I think this makes sense. I think this makes sense. Maybe I would so assuming that your body is here, maybe the crotch should be more like here. Then the sort of vibes that I'm getting, I guess, would just be this, and just maybe I will bring this leg in a little bit. But also not necessary. Not necessary. Yeah, actually just straight down would be best, I think. For this, for what I'm feeling here, straight down is pretty nice, actually. Mm-hmm. For sure. That makes sense. Okay, that's fine to me. That sounds good. But yeah, I do like her expression here. I like the proportion around the face here. Because it took me a while to realize, but I mean, I always find it kind of off-putting that anime heads are so big. Especially compared to their like faces sometimes. But there is a certain charm to having like a slightly larger head, just because it makes the face look smaller. Where the hell is my brush? Am I selecting it? Because the face is only, I do the measurement from chin to eye, right? And then I bring it up, like about 1.2-ish. It's pretty nice. I think for like these guys, I bring them to, oh actually this is not enough. These guys are like 1.5, maybe even more for her, possibly. But this is at 1:1. That's the old proportion. The new one does go 1 to 1.2-ish, maybe slightly, maybe 1.45 actually even. Maybe kind of big for this one. Anyways, yeah, makes sense. It's very agreeable. I like this. Oh yeah, also the hand size, but that might change. That's also fine if you do change. General proportion looks quite long, I would say. It is quite long, but it is not like outlandishly long. It's not like weirdly long, you know. I think it's fine, because this might be more sort of realistic kind of balance. No, actually it's fine. It's like 6 hits, right? Slightly more than 6 hits, perhaps. No, about 6 hits. It almost feels like as though the legs are not long enough, which is kind of crazy to think about, right? No, it's about there, because the heels are here, right? The heels are here. But your knee does have to come a bit lower. I don't know where your knees are right now, because it feels like they're here right now. It feels like they're here right now, but I think it should be about here with this, because maybe somewhere in between, maybe like here. Because you do have to leave some space for the ankle and stuff. Is it more biased to the bottom or is it middle of the... Actually, I'm not sure. I would maybe move the knees lower, but I don't know if that's necessarily correct. I just like it that way. I don't know, but this is a little bit extended. Oops. So you'll be like here-ish. Yeah, it makes sense. Looks fine. Oh no, yeah. By the way, I do like longer and thinner and slenderer forms. So this is perfectly great for me. I don't think there's anything you have to change here. This is my personally, perhaps slightly biased opinion, but otherwise it's fine. Yeah. I think I would just make this happen here. Oh, there, man. It's a bit too crispy because of my transformation nonsense. The fuck just happened, dude? What? It just reset the sizing because I accidentally toggled something wrong. I will do this, I think. Maybe I will even shift this bump a little bit lower. I have a tendency of putting like the calf, like the meat part, the bump thing, a little bit too high. I would do this rather than moving the bump a little bit lower, like maybe here. It's still like upper half, right? But it's not to this extent. Yeah, for sure. Do you want it just like this? Do you want it just like this, or you want like the PNG, the transparent thing? I can send it and then delete it. Oh, I don't have to delete it, I suppose. I can just leave it in the... You know what? Just get both, you know. I can just send this? Okay, that's fine too. Just gonna eat it. Is there space here? Oh, because I just select the PNG, right? I don't ever save stuff with PNG. There's space in PNG. Space. Where's my Discord? Oh, that's right. Where's the thing that I just saved? Where'd it go? I'm looking at the wrong folder. I did a backup of my stuff today and it was such a pain in the ass because I have to manually figure out what is new and what is old. I just realized I just keep drawing this thing backwards. It's like flip left and right. Why did I do it that way? Oh, was it because I was flipped? No, it doesn't carry through. Right? Oh, it does carry through. No, it doesn't carry through. Never mind. Yeah, no, for sure, sure. All the best. Yeah. Many more pieces lie ahead of us. Many more things that needs to be done. So many more things. Oh my god, so many. Let me bring her over. Let me just cut out the face here. Timer? Sorry, what? What am I doing? Make small. I'll layer my own. That's fine. Layer. Save stuff. Make sure we back things up. Why is this thing not saved? What did I do? Literally did nothing. Okay. I'll leave it. Just do it. Ah, I just closed it. Whoops. Bro. DDoSing myself. Can I eat this out? Target down. Normal. It's a very boring pose by all means. There's no alternating turns and this and that. Do I want it to be this though? I don't think so. Yeah, we keep it more like slightly tame, I think. Not as dynamic, not as sort of yeah, not as dynamic is just the word, but it's a bit simpler, less complex, and yeah, no problem, show. Happy to help. Oh wait, didn't I draw this exact? Hang on, I drew this exact theme before. Hang on. Let me see if I can find it. OC's nope. This is the no, but O sequence should contain. It does not contain. What? Wait a second. I didn't. I guess this outburst is a separate set. That's very interesting. Yeah, no problem, show. Thanks for coming. Where are my stuff, bro? Oh, there it is. It's not in here? It's in my backup folder, I'm sure. Art. Pixiv. Original. No original folder. There is original folder. There we go. Number 3, I think it was? No, it's not. Oh, it's number 4. Oh, I never did execute on this. Oh, I thought I did. I remember doing this angle for these pieces here. And I remember like a wolf like flying. But I guess she's not actually affected by it just yet. It's the same expression. It's a good comparison, I suppose. Past and future. Past and present. Never mind. Past and future. Sequence. Where is the other guy? Oh, here. We're not keying anything too specific. This would force it to be over here. That's fine. We're not operating on the same thing. That's fine. Yeah, it's the same pose. Same pose. The eyes are not quite aligned though. Yeah, this eye is not, it's a bit too far back actually, for this black wolf to be the focal. Should move it a little bit forwards. Anyways, I try to eke this out, and then I do have to hop off here. I'm trying to sleep. Oh, well, I keep saying this, but I am actually slightly being able to sleep slightly earlier. Partly because I've just been too tired, but sequence is gonna take some time to pass, of course. Whoop. Are set. Nothing too specific. Continue on to I can give her some momentum being pushed back here, so I'm gonna use the hair for that. I saw some redrawing of Arknight's characters for Enfield or something. And then one of the character, I think Li Feng was it? Like one of the dudes from Wuling got redrawn and like they made the hair cover the eyes a little bit more. And I thought that was kind of interesting because I always felt like covering the eyes is no bueno. Like it's like, no, you should never do that. But I enjoy how good it looked. That purposefully covering the eye kind of thing. Ah, shit. I took that out. I wanted that. That's the undo problem. You sometimes undo stuff that you wanted. If you just erase, it will never happen. You can never accidentally erase stuff because you have to physically move your brush over. And worst case, you still have undo to bring it back, you know, like, but if you do undo and you accidentally do a brushstroke afterwards, then your history is gone and GG. Sucks to suck, oh my god. Let me put a diamond in. 45? 50? 45, please. Oh, interesting. Is the diamond relative to the eyes? I think it is. So we don't always turn 45 degrees. It'll depend on what this is. Reset, 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 reset. Okay. It's not quite the same face. This is a problem that I also face. I don't know how to reconcile eyes that look like this, like what she has in the reference, but what happens when they look down? Because normally you do this, where you have that sort of, you know, like the circle is being shifted down and then you hit the bottom of the eyes. But it looks like a different character to me every time. I'm sure this is not the only thing, like this cheek and layout is quite different, actually. Eye size, let me see, 12. Hmm. No, the eyes are also playing a part. I don't know what the specific problem is right now. The main is reading that is too big, I think. Ultra reads too big. Spacing. Angle. No, I broke it, I think. Or it's because... Don't know. This would be a great time to take my own advice and use the thing that I was talking about. No, it's definitely this way. This band along with the sizing and the rest of the head. Definitely this way is fine. Yeah, okay. I'll sequence it. I think it's required. Getting called for it now. I think that's fine. We let the secondary. Or you just have to push through. I think there's no other way around it. Just the lower. Eyes read different, but also not that different. I'm not sure what is going on. But I think it passes check regardless. We can just move on with this. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, I think I will hop off here. I think we have a good idea for the next one. It still remains to be seen how how well it will turn out, just because I cannot quite imagine this being that orange, because it doesn't work the same way. It could just be like bright and then like maybe slightly orange tinted, but the focal needs to be here. So it's about the reflected light on this, the really dark background contrasting against these guys, and then having like some random ass building lights in the back. I don't know how that's gonna read, if it makes any sense when you're looking at it. But if Min's stuff kind of makes sense, then I'm sure this would do just fine. Because those are really crazy. So, oh, this was the other thing I wanted to grab. But yeah, anyways, for now, I will, how about, I would like to spend some time to sort out my RIA sketches so that I can make the website even more updated. Although it's slowly approaching the point where I think it might be a little bit too heavy to host myself. It might be too costly. But anyways, that's a whole entire separate nonsense that I have to deal with. But thank you for coming. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night. And have a goodbye.